extinct. We're here on the earth. As so every other race, faction of people, spin-off Israelite group. All right, so we first off, I say Shalom, Yahbashim Yahshua Thumb to the brothers, Yahshua Thabashim Yahshua to the sisters, all right? If you got any questions, please type in the chat, okay? This is Tuesday night. This is going to be the Brotherhood class. I'm preaching off of Quatzar, 500 out of Columbus, Ohio. All right, let me start by saying we're not affiliated with any Israelite groups. All right, we stand alone. Like I said, since 1969, we bring out the truth according to this Bible, man. Right here, this Bible, this King James Version Bible right here. All right, if it ain't King James Version Bible, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to tell you. Probably the reason why you're doing the things you're doing you ain't supposed to be doing. All right, so if you got any questions, please ask your questions. Shout out to the brother. Hey, Shalom, Yahbashim Yahshua Thumb to the brother. All right, we got Gad in the building. Gatto Ruben. All right, hey brother, if you got any questions, just please type them in the chat. All right, so tonight in the Brotherhood class, first let's start off by talking about what is Brotherhood. All right, we go over this every week. You need to understand what is Brotherhood. Once you get a thorough understanding, okay, you'll begin to utilize it, making it practical. All right, Brotherhood is synonymous to sisterhood, so sisters, don't think you're excluded. You're not. You're absolutely required to show brothers sisterhood, and brothers, you're absolutely required to show sisters brotherhood. All right, we're in this thing together, like Zephaniah says. It's a bedrock scripture. Gather yourselves together. In order to do so, you have to have brotherhood, man. We all have some form of brotherhood, generally speaking, but when you're shown the type of brotherhood that you give, is it good enough? Is it accepting enough for you? Or you're a person that requires an extreme amount of brotherhood? Or you're a sister that requires an extreme amount of sisterhood, but you don't know how to show it? All right, so we're going to get to the bottom of that, and we're going to find out how to utilize brotherhood and sisterhood properly so that we don't offend one another. Of course, offenses do happen when you're building a nation and you're trying to come together with anything. This is why we have protocol put into play so that we can do right by ourselves and serve the Lord, man. All right, so who do you fear? All right, so before we get into our topic, who do you fear? Let's get the definition of fear. That's very important when it comes to how you comprehend what you're reading. Understanding the sentence syntax, all right? Let's see. Okay, so yeah, about your lineup, what you can and can't do, like Rick Ross beard. Can I get that and shape up that? Or do I have to have James Harden? All right, so when it comes to your beard, of course, you're not supposed to round the edges of your beard. Give me just a second. I'll pull it up for you, brother. But you don't want to look like a stinking, filthy heathen. All right. So you being a brother, okay, and you're able to grow a beard, understand it may look like I have a lineup, but I don't. All right. You're allowed to clean up, you know what I'm saying, the hairs in areas of your face. You're just not supposed to do a direct line and cut like with a razor and all that other extra stuff. But like I said before, it's about the spirit of the word. So give me just a second. Yeah, Rick Ross, that brother has dyed. He has what you call a Beijing. It's not unlawful to dye your hair, but you got to realize what spirit are you going to be in. You're trying to look like a RuPaul or something like that, you know. You never want to do that. You never want to go that route. Never. Give you just a second. So let's go to Leviticus, the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 27. All right. And as we're going to find the law at, man, Leviticus, heavy chapter, dietary laws, everything you need to know about being who you are, right? The oracles of God, your priesthood, you know what I'm saying? Your princesship, whatever you want to call it. You're going to find out what it means to be an Israelite in this book right here. All right. So we're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19. We're going to verse 27. Where you are, we at? All right. So verse 27 reads, Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. All right. If it grows, let it grow, man. You know what I mean? You can clean it up. Like up here, I get these little whiskers and they hurt like hell. You know, I clean them up, man. Keep from getting bumps and acne. But if you're doing it to look like, some stinking filthy heathen, man, you're in the wrong spirit of it. All right. So especially if your physician says, okay, well, this is going to be an issue for you. You're going to consistently get acne, the bumps and all the other stuff. Yeah, don't shave it, man. You're not a heathen. If it grows, let it grow till it doesn't grow anymore. You understand? But you're absolutely it's lawful to clean it up. All right, clean it up. Hygiene is something that Israelites keep. Okay, hygiene is something we started. We have all kinds of protocol when it comes to decency and order. All right. So I'll read it one more time. Leviticus 19 and 27. It says, "Ye shall not round the corners of your beard." Salakia. "Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard." All right. So you can see I keep it, what I'm saying, clean. You know what I mean? I don't get it and line it all up, make its own shape. The shape that it has is the shape that it grows in. All right. So you're absolutely able to keep it clean, man. And hygiene. We want brothers to come in. It's true. We ain't trying to run nobody off. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to sisters, is a hygiene. Think about a sister. She's not well kept. You're not gonna look. You know what I'm saying, at her, and no sweat, bro. And most high in Christ. You're not gonna look at her and want to be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're gonna want someone that is pleasing to your eyes and sight. But as long as you're doing it in a righteous manner, like you did, you asked the question, and I didn't give you thus saith me. We got it out the Bible, man. So that's Leviticus 19 and 27. You want to be blameless in everything that you do. So I'm glad you asked that question, brother. And when it comes to other people, like, don't give a damn about what they say. I could watch General Muhammad's class, Captain Zariak's, Preaching Officer Khan's, you know what I'm saying, uh, Captain Napatazaz, and I see my brother's beards. If they're doing it, then I'm able to do it. And that's how I know it's lawful. Another telltale sign. All right. But yeah, if you got any questions, please type in the chat. I'm gonna try to stop bumping this table. All right. And so tonight we're gonna talk about fear. Who do you fear, man? Who is it that you fear? Because I guarantee you, the person you fear, you think you fear, you say you fear, you don't. All right. So we're gonna go to Merriam-Webster. We're gonna find out what it means in the dictionary to fear. We're gonna get the noun and we're gonna get the verb. There's a difference. You're using it in your sentence syntax. All right. No sweat, brothers. All right. So fear, an unpleasant, often strong emotion by anticipation or awareness of danger. That's one definition. The second is an instance of this emotion, a state marked by this emotion. All right. A reason for alarm or danger. Those are all nouns when it comes to the definition of fear. Let's get the verb. All right. So you know what a verb is. A verb is it shows action. So being afraid. All right. To be afraid, expect with alarm. All right. To be frightened. So why is it important to understand what the word fear means? All right. Because you're supposed to fear the Lord. That's the beginning of your wisdom, your understanding. And 10 times out of 10, you don't have a fear of the Most High because your Christian leaders or whoever it is that you follow has taught you so many lies that you just choose to believe because it's beneficial for how you feel, right? When it comes down to how you feel, man, it's not about how you feel. It's about your faith, man, what you do, your actions, all right? Your emotions just throw you off balance when it comes to what you're supposed to be doing. So in more cases than none, your emotions and feelings will make you abandon, what I'm saying, the mission. All right, you have a mission, you have an absolute job and duty to do. You abandon it because of how you feel. And that's not good. That is absolutely not good. What if you were waiting to be saved and you were in a dire strait, need of help, and it starts raining, and someone says, oh, well, it's rain. We'll wait till the rain subsides because I feel like it's not that serious. And you're on your last leg, man. All right. Don't allow your emotions to get you jammed up in this society. All right. Fear is an emotion. Okay. It's an emotion that you very seldomly understand. And it's simply because you don't know who to fear and why you're supposed to fear them. But we're going to get that. We're gonna get that right now. We're gonna go to the book of Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. So you can understand something about fear. All right. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Please write these precepts down, man. Write them down so you can refer back to them. If you got any questions about them, you don't just have to ask me. It's playing priests and prophets all over the nation of Israel, teaching tonight, Tuesday night Brotherhood class, and answering questions. All right. All through the week. So I said Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. All right. Let's go to 12 and 13. All right. So the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13 says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. All right. What sums it up? What are we supposed to do with this issue that we have? The conclusion of the whole matter: fear God. This is why we're talking about fear right now. And keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. This is your responsibility. This is your birthright. All right. To fear God. Okay. Fear him. And what does fear mean? To understand that these laws, statutes, commandments, these commands, these statutes, these laws are here for us, to keep us in the right spirit, man, to keep us out of dangerous way. All right. So what are some laws that we have? If anybody has any laws, you can put in the chat. What's a law that we have that keeps us safe? That a lot of our people don't want to abide by. What's one law? You can name one law. I got one law for you. When it comes to the dietary law, you don't understand why you can't eat that nasty arthropod called a lobster. You want that shrimp, crab, and lobster, man. They're nigh into roaches. That's exactly who they're cousin and kin to, according to their anatomy and physiology. Their mecca, what they're made of, their body parts. They're kin to that nasty roach, pestilence. I don't see any so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians. Yeah, tuna too. Yeah, you ain't supposed to be that nasty tuna, man. Shit, you think just because Subway put on a sub, it's all good. But as soon as some sister open up her legs, you smell that tuna, you're willing to do what you're supposed to do in the first place, and it's not eating. It is unlawful. It does not have scales, man. Understand that. You're not supposed to be eating the. Hey, shalom, brothers. Shalom. Y'all by Shemi Yashab, I can thumb to the brothers. Y'all Shema, I thought by Shemi Yashab to the sisters, man. Yeah, tuna is absolutely unlawful. All right. And if you don't understand why, you can find a lot of mercury in certain fish, a lot of parasitic infections. All right. You don't have to be a marine biologist to understand that a lot of these foods that we eat that are called rare delicacies are rare. That's because they eat poop, man. Their primary purpose, all right, is specific to cleaning up the ocean, primarily the bottom of the ocean floor. If you were a water specialist in the military, they would teach you the cleanest water isn't floating at the top where sediment floats or at the bottom. It's midway, it's in between. And understand that sediment that's too heavy, it drops to the bottom. And that sediment that's too light, it stays at the top. Just because you take a crap in the toilet and it sinks to the bottom doesn't necessarily mean that that's where all the shit is, man. You understand? That's right. You got a question or something, brother? Yeah, you are supposed to love thy brother. Damn right. Your own people. All right. Neighbor means brother. All right. So you look at you sitting in the Christian church or some Muslim mosque, you look to your left or your right, you see some bastard that doesn't look like you, and then they don't talk like you. You know what I'm saying? They are not of your people, meaning your kindred, your nation. They don't speak your tongue. That is not your brother. Understand that. They're not of the 12 tribes of Israel. They are not your brother. All right. You don't have to be the first one fired after being the last one hired to figure that out. You don't have to go to their house and then go for dinner. And next thing you know, you think you're about to sit at a kitchen table, you're on the floor eating with your hands and feet. We do not do that as Israelites. All right. Have some damn couth, man. Everybody wants to talk about technology. Don't know what the hell technology is. I'm gonna give you the definition of technology real quick so that you can start to use it in your everyday lives. What is technology? Merriam-Webster. We're gonna find out. What is technology? What is technology? All right, technology. The practical application of knowledge, especially in a particular area. For example, engineering or medical technology. All right, I'm gonna read that again. The definition of technology is the practical application of knowledge, especially in a particular area. All right. So even though this is the Brotherhood class, you say, well, what does that have to do with anything? I'm being a brother and I'm telling you what technology is so that you don't think technology is just your smart device. All right. This is an area of application. Okay. So you don't think that technology is specifically and limited to electronics. That's electronics. I'm gonna read it one more time. Technology is the practical application of knowledge, especially in a particular area. So this so-called man invites you to his house because you go to the same church he goes to. His dad's name is Sun Dungoy. All right. He's calling him your brother. You grew up in the hood, some project somewhere. All right, as we all have. Okay. Some may not have. No slight to you. All right. Most High Christ. You get to his house. And instead of smelling some fried chicken or something that you're used to smelling, it's a very fishy aroma. You're in there boiling some octopus. And so you give him the benefit of the doubt, which you shouldn't. You go ahead, you sit on the floor, you roll your sleeves back with your shoes off, and you hold the chopsticks with your feet in your hands, you just dig in. All right. Use your technology, man. It's 2024. Use your practical knowledge and understand that that is nigh unto silly to eat with your hands. All right. For what? You do that with an African brother or sister, so called. That is not your brother, not your sister. All right. Don't wait until you have a real nigga moment to be exposed to your truth. All right. They will absolutely use you for everything, everything good that you have. They'll use you for it until they use you all up. Just like when we've been poured in every nation, they steal your salt and then they throw you by the wayside, man. Understand. You have to use your technology, man, your practical application. And you're getting it right now, right here, sitting in this class, checking in, understanding what it means to be a brother, what it means to be a sister. And that's the quality of state of who you are. Now, what characteristics make up you? Are you a lion, stealing, thief? You know what I'm saying? Are you someone that can't be trusted? Are you some horny bastard that no one wants around their woman? You know, that's an extension of your brotherhood, who you are. That's a clear and distinct cut. You someone who's always late, always making excuses, always got their damn po ass hands out. You understand? Can I get out? Someone who can never say no to anything. Half the damn time you're only offering it, it's because you're trying to be what? A decent human being. Well, you don't have to offer it if you want to give it away. You don't have to give charity or alms. All right. What you do have to do is keep these laws, statutes, commandments. All right. So that's the definition of technology. All right. Don't be a fool and think that a technology is only a smart device. Technology is the practical application of knowledge, especially in a particular area. All right. So use your technology when you go to that party and they passing around that nasty ass blunt that's absorbed 100% of everybody's saliva. Now you got Manu. Now you got gonorrhea. Now you got this, that, and the third, and you going home after lying to your significant other or brother in the school, kissing your baby in the face, and now they're going blind because of some nasty STD you got from hitting a blunt. Yeah, you got to make it make sense, man. You got to be practical. That's what the P stands for in ISUPK. We are the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. This is nothing that's hidden. All right, this is universal and it's practical knowledge that we absolutely use all over the universe. This knowledge, this understanding that we get from the oracles of God, man. All right, and this King James Version Bible. See that right there? This is our school seal, man. ISUPK. I had to cover up that stupid cross on the front. All right, so let's get back to it. All right, the definition of fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. And as a verb, it means to be afraid of someone or something, likely to be dangerous, painful, or threatful. So, why am I asking you, who do you fear? Because everybody says, well, I fear the Lord. You couldn't possibly fear the Lord. And we got it right. We got the book of Ecclesiastes. You don't fear the Lord, man. You don't fear the Lord. You don't believe that he would absolutely unalive your black ass for smoking that weed. And that's why you smoke it. You don't believe he will unalive you for throwing money at the strip club or celebrating your stupid birthday. Why would you want to be a grown adult celebrating a birthday? You get mad. Your homeboy, he hit me up on my birthday. That is a cursed day, man. Damn a birthday. All right. Damn it. You wouldn't give up your season tickets, your season ticket holder seats, floor side to the Lakers for no damn birthday. Why would you give up your rights to the kingdom of heaven? All over a stupid day that you choose to exalt yourself above the most high, the one who created you, the one who's going to punish you and unalive you because you don't fear him. All right. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, we'll go to verse 13. 12 and 13. And I said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. All right. We already broke this down in the class before. What is the conclusion? What is the matter? What is the issue? All right. What is the point? What is the subject of this whole thing? What are we supposed to do here on this God-forsaken earth? That's what they would say. What are we supposed to do here in hell? What are we supposed to do here in this slave and this bondage? It says, fear God, something that we do not do. Right? How do you know you don't fear God? Somebody give me an example. How do you know that you don't fear God? Well, for one, it said, and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For one, you don't do your duty as a man. You don't do your duty as a sister. You do what the hell you want to do. You do what the HE double hockey sticks you want to do. So if you feel like cussing him out for no reason, that's what you're going to do. You're not going to be a pillar of peace like it says you're supposed to. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be a man who goes to war, toils, you know what I'm saying, who's a provider. I'd say monetarily, of education. No, you're going to go to that Christmas party and put them stupid green tights on and have Jacquees at the printer filling all up on her. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be a man and make your head as hard as an embankment and go against hers. Not physically like, some brothers did in the world, but spiritually, man. You're not gonna tell her she's wrong and then sit the hell down. You ain't going out tonight. You're not gonna make it a blockbuster night. You're gonna be up and you're gonna be toiling with your spirit about what the hell she's doing. When you could have simply just told her no. You could have just told her no. Now you going to war. You tossing and turning in your bed. She come on smelling like aftershave, and you just lying to yourself. Fear God, man. It didn't say fear your woman. It didn't say fear your man. It said fear God. And keep his commandments, his commands. They're found throughout the volume of this book. If you don't know what to do, it's because you don't open this book. Hell, you don't know what questions to ask. This is why you don't know who to fear. All right. You don't know who to fear because you don't know what questions to ask because you're just so used to someone telling you what the hell to do. Now I'm about to tell you what to do. All right. I'm about to tell you what to do right now. Stop being a damn idiot, man. Stop being a follower of the world, man. Understand that. Be a follower of Christ, man. And I'm not talking about old school derogatory term Christian. I'm talking about take up your sword and go to war with those demons in your head that give you that cognitive dissonance when you know right from wrong. But because of society's views, you're having psychological issues. No is no. I will tell you no. I don't give a damn who's sitting here. I'll tell you no. Okay, I don't care if your mama's right there. If you're being stupid, I will call you stupid. I'm going to cry aloud. I'm going to spare not. What's the worst that's going to happen? Nothing. What are you going to do? You should be thanking a priest and prophet who cries aloud and spares not. If you were drowning in a swimming pool, you would want somebody to hop in and not spare their trousers, not spare their shirt to chlorine or their cell phone. You're going to want them to drop everything they have on them and whatever it is they're doing to come save your life. But when it comes from this perspective, it's not accepting. No, it's absolutely accepting. All right. I'm not going to wait until I have to scrape up a corpse off the ground because you've been unalive for celebrating your birthday party. I'm not going to be sitting in traffic for hours because you wanted to do something stupid like drink and drive and then crash into a pole. Then I got to scrape you off of a pole. I'm going to tell you right now in this brotherhood class to keep the commandments of God, man. All right, I'm going to read it one more time. And this is the conclusion of the whole matter. You wonder why you're so mad, you're being vexed, you're dealing with the cursings, you always have to file rebuke. And here's the whole matter. This is why. It's because you don't fear God and you don't keep the commandments of God. When you keep those things and you do those things, you don't have to be fearful of the judgment. Because you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're following the law, statutes, and commandments, the order. You're living in your true destiny, man. You're living in your nationality. You're not taking on one from another nation, nationality or culture or whatever the case may be. All right. So this is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. All right. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Not buying flowers for your honey boo boo on Valentine's Day. Not staying up till 12 o'clock to watch some stupid ball drop just so you can make these unrealistic expectations that you haven't been practical about your whole life. Your whole life. You've been doing what? What it is that you want. So because some stupid ball dropped, it did something. It had an action. It dropped, right? Now you're supposed to be changed within an instant. Let's be practical about that situation. All right. You're only going to do what you know to do is right. And until you have a priest and prophet correcting you and telling you that you're wrong, you're not going to know what right is. And even doing so, you're still going to choose to do what's wrong because you haven't been practical. You haven't been practicing these things. And this is the point of the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. So you can learn how to practice, right? You can't be an Al Iverson talking about practice. What's practice? That brother had talents, he had gifts. And it still cost him something, because the 76ers had something called protocol, decency and order. They don't give a damn about how good you are. Nine to the most high, they don't give a damn about how you feel. If you're going to be some emotional man that's always practicing getting mad or crying and doing that weird thing, then you're not going to be practical when it comes to doing what the Lord says and keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. You're always going to give yourself an out based on how you feel. So what does that have to do with who you fear? Well, we're going to go to Job 9 and 24. Like I said, if you got any questions, please type them in the chat. Shalom, 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 man. Yeah. Any questions, please type in the chat. Who do you fear? I'm about to tell you who you fear. And that's absolutely nobody. You're all about self. You're all about what you can get. You don't fear anybody because fearing someone stands in the way of you getting what you want. So therefore, you become this impervious being that the Lord somehow just has their back on everything. So you're willing to commit sins, commit adultery, commit fornication, anything, just for your own happiness. That's how your reward system set up in your brain, man. You understand? You're willing to do whatever for your own happiness. And that means not fearing the Lord, then you're willing to accept everything the world has to offer. All right? We'll go to Job 9 and 24 real quick. Job 9 and 24. Like I said, if you got any questions, please type in the chat. Shalom to everybody checking in. Like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Next time somebody pisses you off, here's what you do. You send them my class. Piss them off even more. But at least they'll be pissed off with some type of truth and understanding. I said Job 9 and 24. All right. The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. And it reads, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Well, what the hell? What do you know? If the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, who are you going into the world and just subjecting yourself to whatever the world says you're supposed to do? That's your problem, man. This is why you don't fear the Lord. Because you go to wicked people for everything. If they say shave your damn head, bend over, and shake your ass, that's exactly what you're going to do. And that's grievous. I mean, if you're a man of integrity, if you're a woman of honor and of dignity, you should use your technology. Understand that is not right. Be practical about the situation. You got to climb up a tower of crates just to fall off onto your stupid head for some millennials to laugh and then like and subscribe and follow you just so you get a little money in your pocket. Now you sitting up in here and the money that you obtain isn't enough to pay for your hospital bills. That's stupid. Oh, let me make it even more practical for you. You absolutely despise the Most High, right? You despise, Christ. We know him as Yahweh Shai Mashiach. You absolutely despise him. How do you know it? Because you love everything that he hates. This is why you don't fear anything. There's no alarm. There's no unpleasant emotion when you see someone from the alternative lifestyle. And let me pull your coattails. All right. You don't hate them because it's not socially accepted. And that just further proves what the Bible says that the hand is given to the world. The world is given to the hand of the wicked, right? And you become a wicked bastard trying to be a part of this world. You don't fear the Lord, knowing that He will unalive you for being a part of that lifestyle. But because you're such a selfish bastard, man, you're such a selfish brother. You're willing to not fear the Lord and say, I don't believe that crap. Until you're down on one knee begging and pleading for His mercy in your time of need. Till you're releasing those blooms. You understand? You don't fear the Lord, man. You don't keep His commandments, which will actually keep you safe. And this is the reason why we're in this condition we're in as a people. And that condition is called hell. And then believing the world, you think you're going to go to a lower hell? You think that there's some red being with a pitchfork walking around cracking a whip? I mean, you're in hell. You just don't realize it. Understand that, man. How do you know that the world is wicked? Well, you don't fear the Lord, and in doing so, you keep His commandments, but you choose to break them because you love murderers, you love homosexuals, you love pedophiles, right? Well, no, I know I don't. I do not. Now you're going too far. No, I'm not, because someone from that alternative lifestyle chooses the same sex, given the genus homo, sexual, same sex, right? So now it's okay. What does that have to do with that? Well, because you don't know how to keep the oracles of God, you want to express yourself through your homosexuality. And in doing so, you have children that ask the question, well, why does that mama want to be like a daddy? Why is this daddy dressed like a mama? You know what I'm saying? You've never watched any type of movie where it said the daddy lion was dressed up as a mommy lion. But given the world where it's going now, you might just. How is that pedophilia? Because if we are the example and you're expressing yourself and your personal views of the alternative lifestyle, the child has to wonder why you're dressed like a woman and you're a man. You're molesting them mentally because now they're thinking with their little brains. And instead of grasping the concept, I'm a young man, I'm a young woman, a young girl, you're just molesting them. That's pedophilia. And you people that say, well, okay, I'm a MAP, a minor attracted person. So you're attracted to minors? You think that's okay? No. You think it's okay, and it's not okay because you don't know the conclusion of the whole matter, which is to fear God. And when you fear Him, you keep His commandments. Because those bad things that happen to you, like that HIV, you know what I'm saying? That whole process of unaliving and becoming deceased very slowly, coughing up all that mucus, doing all those, that's grievous. But keeping the oracles of God isn't. Keeping these laws, statutes, commandments is not grievous, man. It's not. It's not. This is Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. The hand of the wicked, man. And so what are you in? You're in the hand of the wicked. So it behooves you to do what? Serve the Most High. So He will deal with you. You don't want no smoke with Christ. He holds the keys to what? Hell and death. He's the one that'll approve you in front of the judge. That prosecutor calls, hey, he's going to make sure that you do what? You become unalive. You got to really make it make sense. You don't serve the Lord, nor do you fear Him. You don't fear anyone. You're for evilness. You're for wickedness. You're pro those things that you so-called despise because you're not taking a stand against them, and you can't because you're standing with them. You got to make your calling and election sure. They always say in the Christian church, I used to hate that. Coming before the altar and confess, well, I'm like, man, shut up. One more time. What are you doing up here in this dang on pulpit? Nothing. You're collecting monies that you didn't work for, you didn't earn. Money that you're claiming that's going to lessen the debt that these people who are suffering owe the Most High. And you're having your heaven right here off the backs of these so-called children of Israel, right? The so-called Blacks, Hispanic, Native American Indians, who we really are. That's our true identity. You're getting fat pockets off of us, man. The world is a better place because of the salt that we bring, the savor, the flavor. This is why we are supposed to come out of, man, let me get that. We gotta come out of this wicked ass place, man. Understand that. You don't fear the Lord. You fear yourself, right? You feel like you're gonna die if I don't get my happiness. Oh, the world's over for me. That's what you're scared of. You're scared of being alone. You're scared of never being happy. You're scared of forever being poor. You don't fear the Lord, who holds the keys to everything. You should fear him, not yourself. This is why you do the wickedness that you do. Psychologically, you think that you got the answer to everything. You're gonna burn some sage until what? Until what? You see some paranormal activity happening. Your house burnt down. Oh, it must have been a demon in it. No, it was an amber. You walk around the house that caught a flame and burnt your house down because you thought sage would do the trick, not knowing that you were that evil spirit, man. You were that evil being that couldn't control their demons, and you did demonic things. You became satanic because you didn't fight your demons. You understand? You started doing those wicked and evil things that you were thinking. And that's a problem. You are of the world, man. You're from the world. That's a problem. That's a problem because we've been given an identity. Let me finish this out. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Man, understand this, man. The oppressor is a wicked bastard. You understand? When we follow him and that image of Cesar Borgia or Caesar Borgia, someone who's a very nasty man, a very violent, debased man, you understand? You begin to do the things that he does instead of following your brother, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, man, who absolutely was unalived for our sins. He was perfect. You understand? He was perfect. His blood was shed as a propitiation for us. And we just want to do what we feel is what we should do. Because you're afraid of yourself. You ever heard the term you're afraid of your own damn shadow? That's who you fear. You feel yourself. You don't want to what? Be so embarrassed. You're not going to speak up. You're not going to say, hey man, get your filthy, dirty hands off that little kid. You're not going to say, man, cover up your black ass. Nobody wants to see no man with no thong on. Nobody wants to see you twerk. Shamar. No one wants to see you do any of those things, man. Nah, you're gonna keep quiet because you're cognitive dissonance, which is now something that you have to face because now you're dealing with something that's far worse. That's delusion, a reprobate mind. Now you're gonna be burning your own lust because you couldn't fear the Lord and understand that He's going to destroy you. And then being utterly destroyed, you're gonna be even more lost. You're gonna pull people down with you. You understand? So instead of that happening, we're gonna do something that is what we've been doing from the beginning, something we've been commanded to do, and that's be a damn brother and be a damn sister, man. We're gonna drop that. Let's get this next precept, man. What was that, Job 9 and 24? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. You keep that in mind when someone's giving you an ultimatum at your job. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what? You gotta bend over, get your backboard all touched up, get them fingerprints all on your backboard. What? For a movie role? Oh, man, listen. I'm quite to start by you, how would I buy you Sharala? You understand? And that is a very, very biblical name to have. And I earned it. I did my 90 days. You know what I mean? You can do that righteous thing and come into your own, man. Your own nationality. It feels good. But what do you got these does and all this, that, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It feels good, to be in control because I'm under control. I have self-discipline. Thanks to the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana, man. Barakatah Yahweh, Wayabashah. Give Commander General Yohana a goddamn hand. All the mighty brothers that come up under him, man, that fall in order up under him to make sure that brothers like me ain't out here wreaking havoc on you. You understand? Taught me what it means to have some self-discipline. Who taught me what it means to be an Israelite man. Not a man of this world, man. Who will rob a bank, stick up some old lady, work their whole life as some oppressors, whatever, you know what I'm saying, to get a pension, just so you can come up behind her with a pistol so you can buy some stupid Christmas gifts because you're unlearned. All right. You don't fear God, you fear yourself. This is why you would do anything to get high, do anything to fulfill your lustful desires. You will know. You're gonna lie. What are you scared of? You're scared of that feeling you're gonna get because you're a very emotional being. That's what you're scared of. Man, listen, deny yourself. Go through with it. Fear the Lord instead of having to deal with those punishments, man. Those judgments ain't no joke. Yeah, those judgments aren't no joke. You ain't gotta take my word for it. Let's go to John 15 and 19. All right, John 15 and 19. Let's get a little bit more of this thing. John 15, verse 19. It's the book of John, chapter 15, verse 19. If ye were of the world, meaning from the world will love his own, right? You have a kid, don't you? You're supposed to love it. It came from your body, right? Let's start from the top. If ye were of the world will love his own. But because ye are not of the world, I mean, you're not from this world, man. But I have chosen you out of the world. Therefore, the world, because of that, the world hated you, man. Hated you. So if you're somebody in the world who just is a very feely person, you know what I'm saying? No one hates you. It's because you're of the world, man. when the Lord chose us, understand, man, that was one of the most glorious things that could have ever happened to so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans. And yeah, I know that I'm hated. And guess what? I'm absolutely fine with it. I absolutely embrace it. That lets me know that I'm doing what thus saith the Lord, not what thus saith the world. You understand? Who unalived our King, you understand, for doing what the Most High commanded him to do. Get in your spirit, man. Get this understanding before you're destroyed utterly with the world. How do you know that's going to happen? Let me just give you a little context. Give me give me just a sec. We about to go to uh name name 3 and 1. All right, give me just a second. Get us a little precept on this real quick. You don't think I'm making this up? There's always a conspiracy theorist somewhere in the midst. 3 and 1. All right, name 3 and 1. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not, the noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. Understand, what you need to understand is what that word woe means. It means destruction, man. Destruction. What bloody city? The city that was built upon blood. You know what I'm saying? US of A. You wonder what I'm talking about? Google what happened when Christopher Columbus came here. Google the sad truth, right, behind Thanksgiving. All the things that go on in this city and the parable. I'm not even gonna get into trying to break that down. That'd be for another class. But understand how and why this world is wicked. What was done in order for it to be standing now to your people. They don't want to talk about what's done to your people. They don't give a damn. They want to know, they want you to know what was done to their people. This is why you have such a selfish spirit. You want to manifest destiny from sea to shining sea. Whatever it may be in your little stupid head, that's what you're willing to manifest. And that's what you're going to go after. In doing so, you don't fear the Lord. You don't fear being unalived for celebrating your birthday. You don't fear being unalive for smoking weed. You don't fear being unalive from stealing from KFC or Chipotle or Walmart or any of these or Macy's. You don't fear that. You don't fear any type of judgment because you're your own God in your own head. This is why you celebrate your birthday. It is a very sad thing because the truth is right here in this Bible. Everything I've read to you has come out of these pages. You want to listen to the voices in your head that mean absolutely nothing, that came from someone else, that came from someone else, oral traditions of how to keep sins. Well, we have an absolute tradition, all right, in the ISUPK, and that's serving the Lord, man. Getting this understanding from the book, not what's been made up or been falsely taught, or you know what I'm saying, been falsely prophesied. You know, heck no. That's one thing I didn't never understand about these so-called readers. Get your free reading. All right, what are the lotto numbers? Let me call you back. Let me call you back. Get your free reading. You got to ask me questions just to answer questions, and then you give me answers that aren't true. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you rolling dice. That's not unlawful, but you would say it is. But getting your tarot cards read, man, get out of here. Save your money. Keep your money in your pocket. That's how you become rich. Stop wasting it on these dogmatic principles. You know, go ahead and drop that. Let me see. Let's get John 14 and 15. We'll keep it real simple, all right? Because you already know what you're supposed to do. All right. Fear the Lord, man. That's the whole duty of man. And in your fear, you absolutely learn how to love him by keeping his law, statutes, commandments. Everybody will you tell your child, look, when you get this store, don't ask for nothing. You know, you done got your little stupid grocery list planned out. You're so poor, the baby can't get a lollipop. And then when he ain't ate since 2 o'clock. And you at Kroger with your stupid TikTok pants on, trying to catch one. You know what I'm saying? And this child is hungry. You tell them don't ask for nothing. They ain't gave him a peanut butter jelly sandwich, a nana, or nothing. They get in the store. You trying to stick to your little stupid grocery list. You understand? And what happens? What happens, man? You get mad and you try to discipline a child for asking you for the things that they need because they're hungry, they're in need. Knowing damn well they've been obeying you. You just want to just be a terrible parent. So they get in there, they're hungry, look at all this food. Or anything they said, well, mama, why would you bring me in here? You know, I'm so hungry. I haven't ate all day. You got me around this food. Of course, I'm going to ask for something. I'm starving. And you do something that's so hideous and terrible. Instead of giving the child a banana, just you know, satisfy their hunger, you go ahead, you open, you chastise them, you pop, pop. That's don't ask for nothing. Go put that back. Now the child's having a so-called tantrum. All right. You do the same thing when it comes to the Most High. Instead of you waiting and doing something like keeping the faith, I mean your work, doing what you're supposed to do diligently, you expect the Lord to be your personal genie. Now you have to get chastised. And unlike that child who was innocent, just know the same type of mercy you execute upon that child, the Lord's going to execute upon you. Because you should have been merciful, but you couldn't do that because you're a wicked bastard. You only want what you want. You want what you want, and then when you don't have it, you don't reason with someone else who didn't have it at the time. You just get mad. Now it's a problem. All right. And that's an absolute disgusting thing. This is why in the brotherhood class, I'm trying to teach you, by extension of me being a brother, how to be a brother, how to be a sister. All right. Your child's hungry, you feed them. The Most High knows what you want, He knows what you need. But why would He give you the things that you want, the desires of your heart, if you're not doing what He said would be offering enough? You know what you've done. Now, don't make me turn the lights down and cue the organ or piano player. You know what you've done. All right. I ain't looking for no tears and none of that. You know exactly what you've done. And you know what you want to be forgiven for versus what you've forgiven someone else for. Right? Don't be a wicked bastard. Fear the Lord. Know that He's going to keep His word upon every generation. He's going to die and come back and the Lord will forget. Oh, no. Oh, no. You might have, but He won't. All right. Don't be a wicked bastard, man. Fear the Lord, man, and keep His commandments. All right. That is the duty of man. John 14 and 15. We're going to keep getting the same thing. The same thing. 14 verse 15. Here we go. If ye love me, keep my commandments. If though. So for all you people that say, well, yeah, you can trust me. I'm a God-fearing man. No, the hell you ain't. Only person you fear is yourself. Because you know that if you don't give yourself what it is that you need, that happiness, you're going to die internally. And then you're dying internally. You're going to become very bitter. And then you're going to become very miserable. And everybody that you come around, you're going to make miserable and bitter just like yourself because you don't fear the Lord and understand that he will make you miserable by yourself if this person keeps my commandments. Hell, understand this. That is the scrubbing that needs to be done to every person that you claim to be a friend, right? You claim to be a friend. That's the scrubbing, keeping the Lord's commandments. So, okay, how do you know if this person will be a good friend or not? Well, let me see. Can they resist their soul the temptation of eating pork? No, they can't. So what makes you think that they're not being a child of God, a righteous one at that, they're going to be a good friend to you? Oh, it's a miracle. He hasn't solved the problem for you. You know. Yeah, let me think. Well, she said, I put it on them grave. Man, I put it on my mama. Put it on so much. You ain't who the hell you say you are, man. And it's just wickedness, it's evil. To put it on anything. Let your yay be a nay, and your no be a no. Yeah, yes, yes, and no means no. Anything else is evilness, man. But you don't have to take my word for it. That literally what the Bible says. But you're not going to know that because you don't do any scrubbing when it comes to you. So how would you know what is good versus what is bad? You know, psychologically, you're not a judge of character in your own mind. So you're that friend that everybody talks about. And those people that are backbiting and talk about their friend, they're them as well. And this is why we have to have classes all throughout the week so that we can do what? Educate one another. Because prior to me taking that test, that pop quiz, right? And then putting down every answer, and my little stupid brain I thought was right. I know I ain't study. I ain't study for the test. I'm studying for a test. Practice. Man, I'm that nigga. Get my test back. Looks like bloody murder. All these red marks and X's because I got everything wrong. Understand this life that you're living, it's not no test. You have trials and tribulations, but understand those red marks are going to cost you. So instead of failing a test, why don't you pass it, man? And do what thus saith the Lord, what's commanded of you. All right. Everybody else's nation, their patriotism, it cries out to them. You know, you never seen an Esau, you never seen neither might not rock the red, white, blue proudly. You know what I'm saying? Never know them not do woo, whatever the hell it is that they do that makes them feel so patriotic. They do it. It cries out. Why doesn't your spirit cry into you? It does. Well, guess what you do? You ignore it. You ignore it because you feel like you're not going to be socially accepted. You know what I'm saying? It only comes out when you're having that black moment when it's socially accepted. You know, you're around the people. Oh no, I ain't no potato salad. Keying it up. But then when you go to Karen's family reunion, you're the only nigger there. Then you're willing to do what? Act like them because you're what outnumbered? Man, come on, stop it, man. Be who you are. Don't trim yourself. Don't trim your ways for the love of someone who's going to have a perpetual hatred towards you, man. Fear God. Don't fear yourself. Listen, I got news for you. Not being happy is where you're going to find the most happiness. And it don't make sense to you now. You're probably smoking a blunt. I'm going to tell you right now. Following orders is when you get life. And that's keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. And you're going to be happy, not being happy, right? When you're sitting at home and normally around this time, you'd be off Parsons Ave at the doctor's office getting your daily dose of that penicillin. You know what I'm talking about. Getting your daily dose because of some wickedness or some lasciviousness that you fell victim to. Trying to find your happiness. Now you're unhappy. So when you're unhappiness, you're going to find happiness knowing that you don't have to stand in that line to get a shot in your ass because you have gonorrhea. I understand it, man. It's not grievous to keep these laws, statutes, commandments. It says John 14 and 15, if ye love me, keep my commandments. Like, come on. Come on, man. You want somebody, if you love me, you're gonna pay me my money back. If you love me, you ain't gonna do this. If you love me, you take your shoes off when you come in the house. You can set all these parameters for everything. And you want people to live by them so that you can feel whatever. But when it comes to you serving the Lord, you're not willing to do what's necessary so that your mom, who's never going to turn from her wicked ways, can have a little bit of mercy because of your righteousness. Maybe you should do what my brother tells me to do. Read Job. Have some accountability. You understand? Have some accountability. You ever start to think the Lord may have mercy on you because of what you like, what you may want, if you're doing what you're supposed to do? You know, don't get it twisted. You're absolutely going to be held accountable for the things that you do and don't do. And heaven and earth both take account. When the Lord lay before you life and death, and He told you to choose life, now you're choosing death because of your own happiness, man. Fear the Lord. And like Charles Barkley said, if you fear anything else, it will be uncivilized, man.